Hey friends, welcome in or welcome back to my channel. This is Miss Tarot and I am back again today with a reading for you. Today we are going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot deck, and for the Oracle deck, to get the overall energies, we're going to use the tea leaves because I haven't used those in a long time and they seem to, people seem to really like them. They're cute, aren't they? Let's get into the reading. Hope you guys are all doing really well. It's a beautiful day here. It's just at the end of April, so you know it's not too hot yet in this part of the world. Let's see what your overall energies are. Haystack, rat. That one didn't want to come. I only take the one with the flip. And, oh, it's fine if they fall. I'm just gonna get them. Okay. That seems to be enough to go on. Let me get down here and grab the other one too that fell. And we're going to explore the overall, excuse the squeeze chair, overall energies for all of these. So right now, what we got going on. First one that came out of the deck is Haystack. Karma, you will reap what you have sown. So we'll get some more clarification on that. Let's see, with the next one was going to be rat, actually. So someone working against you or behind your back, which is really interesting. And we have valley, deep personal strength and peace that assure success. And we also have dog, close up, pleasure with a close friend. Everybody likes dogs, I think, right? I don't know. Fox. We have shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. Looks like we're kind of all over the map with this one today. And the last one, you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. So a lot of messages to unfold here. I don't think that this is just an overview of one big reading. I think there's several messages here that your spirit guides are wanting to talk to you about. I'm going to make sure all of this is in frame. It is fabulous. Okay, cool. Because sometimes when it gets a little off center, it can look a little weird for everybody, but I just want to make sure that you can see all the cards all the time. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get into the tarot and see what the heckity heck we have going on, because these are all very interesting. And as always, if you are new to this channel and any of these messages resonate with you, definitely take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe. It really lets me know what videos people are enjoying and what they want to look forward to. Also, hey, if you have a suggestion for a specific reading, drop it in the comments below. That's always super helpful. Okay, let's see what we got here. Tell me about this fox. Okay, so 9 of Wands. All right. We got King of Cups, clarifying haystack. We also have the 5 of Wands for rat. Tell me about this valley, deep personal strength and peace. Okay. King of Pentacles. Nice. Woo. Okay, I don't know how that's going to work. 2 of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'll end up taking an additional one because I do think that there is some clarification going on here. Let's see here. The Hierophant, the Magician, 8 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, Ace of Wands, and you know what? We're going to take the bottom of the deck because I feel called to. 6 of Pentacles. Okay, there we go. This is going to be kind of a massive reading, so let's kind of make sure everything is in frame. There we go. The cards are just too beautiful not to skip over anyway. So let's start with we'll start with the right side and we'll move, or I'm sorry, it's left. We will start with the left side and move to the right side and just kind of see if we can tie this all together. So part of you with the fox, when we talked about shrewdness and resourcefulness, it's clarified by the Nine of Wands and the Hierophant. So what I'm looking at is, it kind of reminds me of somebody who isn't just toughing it out, but is possibly navigating a really complex situation with deep emotional intelligence as well as wisdom. Okay, so the Nine of Wands, this card kind of shows that you've been through the ringer. Okay, it's the battle weary soldier. You're weary, but your shrewdness is what's keeping you standing right now, because you're not just being defensive. Okay, you're not just being defensive. You're practicing resourceful self-protection, and you've learned where the leaks are, right? So when it comes to, what do I want to say here? Leaks, squeaky chair again, sorry. What do I mean by leaks? So leaking time, energy, or trust, and you've gone through the work to patch them up. This is all about the wisdom of knowing exactly when to hold the line, because you value your own peace. Okay, so think of it as boundaries, maintaining boundaries. Now the Hierophant comes in here as kind of this compassionate architect. Okay, the Hierophant sometimes feels very rigid in terms of energy, but right now I really feel that he's representing a resourceful use of structure. Okay, so instead of being trapped by tradition, you are wisely using, established systems, mentors, or the way things are done to provide yourself with a safe harbor, to let yourself be safe and to know what to expect and what's coming. Okay, so while you're navigating the rules of the environment, it's important to know that you're not just doing this to conform, but also to find the most efficient and protected path forward. Okay, it's pretty much based on intelligence, knowing that sometimes working within the system is the quickest way to change your own circumstances. Okay, so make sure with this one that you give yourself credit for how street smart you've become. And street smart, it's different from being book smart. You're not being cold or overly cautious when it comes to this issue. You're being a really faithful steward of your own well-being, your own energy. You're protecting yourself, and you've stopped throwing yourself at walls, dead ends. You're done banging your head against the wall. Instead, you're looking for the key to the door. Does that make sense? I hope so. Now, when it comes to the haystack, this one's all about karma and reaping what you sow. So then we have the King of Cups and the Magician here. And the Magician is all about creation, right? So when we think of karma, this isn't just, the responsibility of, emotional manifestation, because the King of Cups is all about stable emotions, right? It isn't also just about getting what you want. It's about the cycle of how you use this power and your own heart to create your reality. Okay, let me take a breath here because it's a little bit to unpack. When we come to the haystack in a very karmic type energy, in that kind of context, I should say, the Magician is kind of like the seed of intent. Okay, so you have all the tools, you have the willpower, you have communication, resources, you can make all these happen, you have all the tools. Okay, but karma is a reminder that energy is neutral. Okay, and the direction that you want to take is your choice. So the lesson, especially, when we talk about reaping what you've sown, is you're currently reaping what you once willed into existence. Do you know what I mean? If you use your skills with integrity, the universe is going to give you the magic to finish, okay, what you started. So when it comes to the King of Cups with that, he's going to be the steady anchor, okay? So he's mastered those emotional and internal waters, meaning he doesn't just react, he responds with wisdom. So karmically, this card suggests that you've reached a point where you're being rewarded with emotional peace because of this work, probably, especially when it comes to healing past wounds. All right. So, all together, I think these cards are really indicative of emotional alchemy. Okay. You're not just manifesting material success. You're actually manifesting more of a state of being. You are creating your safest, most stable self. Okay. So, if you are using the Magician as your emotional intelligence and the King of Cups to navigate your life, that pretty much means you're balancing the scales by acting from a place of maturity and love rather than ego. Okay? So you're kind of in this karmic mastery phase. The universe is handing you that magic wand because it finally trusts you to lead, for your heart to lead the way. You've moved away from wanting to control into more learning to go with the flow, because that's what the universe needs you to do, is just ride the waves, right? Let's see, when it comes to the rat, and this one is specifically says someone working against you or behind your back. We got the 5 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles, so it can't be all bad. Now, where do I want to start with this one? I think where we want to go is, when the 2 cards of these appear under the shadow of somebody working against you, like the tea leaf says, it describes a really specific, calculated type of opposition. So this isn't an impulsive attack, okay? This is somebody who has a very disciplined and willful effort to try and destabilize you, okay? So don't be scared. Don't be worried about this too much, because in the context, the 5 of Wands is going to talk about manufactured chaos. This person is likely stirring up drama, okay? They're petty drama, and it has a lot to do with small disagreements or conflicting information around you. Pretty much they're creating a bunch of noise to distract you. It's designed to keep you busy putting out all these small fires, right? Instead of seeing the bigger move that they are trying to make. So it's diligent sabotage. And when it comes to the 8 of Pentacles, this person isn't being meticulous. They're being meticulous is what I'm trying to say. They aren't just being gossipy. They're trying to perfect a narrative against you. They're putting in time to undermine your reputation or something that you are working on. They're trying to sabotage you, okay? So think of who really doesn't want to see you succeed. Together, what these cards are suggesting is that somebody's trying to outwork you by exhausting you. And they will use the 5 of Wands to keep you flustered and reactive, while they use the 8 of Pentacles to slowly kind of chip away at your foundation. They're treating your downfall like it's their full-time job. And this level of petty is no fun to deal with. But pretty much what they're saying here is, since you know what this is and you've identified this, you need to just stop engaging with the noise, okay? So stop engaging with that 5 of Wands energy that they keep throwing at you in terms of trying to get you to be distracted. Otherwise, you're playing into your hands. They keep provoking you and you keep jumping at it. So no more getting provoked. I know it's easier said than done. Instead, match the 8 of Pentacles energy, right? Oops, sorry. And that means you need to be more careful, meticulous, and grounded in your own work and do it better than they are doing, because they're trying to do something to look better at whatever it is they're competing with you with. I have no idea what this is. This could be work. It could even be a friendship. Could be, 2 people vying for the same romantic attention of another person. I don't know. And since it's a general reading, we're not going to go into a huge deep dive. I still have 3 more piles to do. But pretty much what I'm saying here is you need to silence that chaos that is trying to distract you. Don't pay any attention to it. It kind of reminds me of that younger sibling energy where they're sitting next to you in the car and they're like poking at you and you're just like, stop. And they're like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And you're just like, you're playing into their hands. So don't do that. Okay. Be focused on your own work and silence their chaos with you showing up for yourself and doing what needs to be done, right? Put your work in because you're competent. They are not. They're trying to distract everybody and everything to make it look like you're the incompetent one when you are actually not. Now, when it comes to the valley that we were talking about here with the deep personal strength and peace that assures success, I do think that it's funny how these two were very much clumped together in one type of energy, and now we're seeing the same thing happen here. So maybe these two will end up with the same issue as well. I see 3 different issues here, but they could all be very much intertwined. The valley, what we're looking at with the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, is really representing the ultimate like survivor to, sovereign type energy. So, somebody who came from something very small was just barely surviving into this massive success. So the Ten of Swords overall is kind of that, it's the ending of a cycle. It's the ending of something big, but instead of it being a catastrophe and something that is like, I'm so, it's more of a, I'm done with this energy type thing. It's a release. It's the piece of it being, it's over. And in the context of personal strength, this card isn't going to be a tragedy. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be a release. It means the worst has already happened. The betrayal, the burnout that has reached its absolute limit. So your strength here is going to rely on your acceptance because you've stopped fighting a losing battle. There's a really profound, quiet peace that comes when you realize that because you've hit the bottom, the only direction left is up, right? And there's nothing left for you, your fears is what I mean, or from enemies to take from you because you've stopped engaging with that nonsense. When it comes to the King of Pentacles, this is kind of like your unshakable foundation, right? So this is you standing up after the Ten of Swords. You're mastering your environment. You're not just okay. You're prospering. You're grounded. This is that, I don't want to say quiet luxury type energy because you've secured your boundaries. You've secured your finances. You have self-worth that pretty much nothing can rattle you. And you've turned the swords of, of those past issues into the gold of present, essentially. You represent the resilience of nature, a forest, that grows back thicker and stronger after a fire. Think of that kind of energy. But with those combined, this is all like battle-hardened peace. And that takes me back to the Nine of Wands. This battle that you've had to fight is definitely is taking its toll, right? You do have the personal strength, but in this moment, it's time for you to realize that your scars are actually your credentials, okay? You've moved on from being a victim of circumstances to the owner of your own destiny. That's what I'm trying to say. You're finally safe because you've made yourself safe through all of this, okay? This is pretty heavy stuff that we're dealing with right here. So it does look like we're getting into the highs and lows and then, the success over here because this all looks happy. So let's talk about the dog. Pleasure with a close friend, Two of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. So when it comes to those cards and this combination, it's pretty much pure happiness. It's that playful balance, with the Two of Pentacles and the fire of the Ace of Wands. It's a friendship that feels like a constant, exhilarating adventure. So there's going to be either somebody who's coming into your life or someone who's going to pull you out of this overall energy that is going to bring harmony and balance to whatever is happening with the situation. I'm just going to call it a situation. But it's synchronicity, right? It's that effortless give and take that you have with this particular person, where it's going to be navigating a very chaotic situation together while laughing the whole time. So, your resourcefulness as a duo makes, handling business feel pretty much like a game. All right. When it comes to the Ace of Wands, this is kind of the go signal in the tarot. It's the green light. So in this context, it represents a really fresh surge of mutual passion. So being around this person is going to make you feel more creative, more alive, more fired up about your own life. This person is going to restore your energy. This connection is fabulous because every time you hang out, a new idea is going to be born. This friend isn't just a companion, they're kind of a catalyst. They're the fire. I should say, actually, they're the ones that ignite the fire and give you confidence or remind you of your own potential. There's a really good understanding between you both that is meaning that life is meant to be lived and not just endured. And I really think that you both have that same overall energy with each other. And this person's going to come through and really balance this whole situation out. When it comes to all of this together, you guys, I would probably say it's a power couple type energy. This is partners in crime. You're going to help each other stay balanced while really keeping the fire of excitement burning. And it's a really rare chemistry where this friendship is really going to give you more energy than it takes. So that's what you're going to need a lot of to move forward into what we're coming to right now, which is the Diamond, receiving or giving a precious gift, along with the Knight of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. So when you pair these guys together, the Knight of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, the energy is going to be, along with, I should say, receiving, the precious gift. You're receiving something so much more than just a material exchange. Okay. It's an act of emotional recognition. Okay. This is a moment where someone really truly sees your value and responds with a gesture that is both heartfelt but also practical. So, the Knight of Cups is the messenger of the soul. He doesn't just bring a gift, he brings meaningful sentiment. And this gift is not going to be random. It's chosen with sensitivity to your needs. This person's going to have listened to you, listened to your unspoken desires, and is acting on them. So this is kind of the preciousness of being understood. They're approaching you with an open heart, okay? Offering something that's intended to heal and inspire. And, with the Six of Pentacles, this is kind of like, it's showing that what you're receiving is exactly what was missing. This isn't about charity or anything like that. It's about alignment, because this gift is going to, like I said, really restore your sense of equilibrium in life. This is going to be that balance. It's going to be, it might be a physical gift, or maybe a timely favor, or, it could even be something as meaningful as somebody's focused time or mentorship. But it's a kind of generosity that provides you with exactly the tool or support you need to get through this. And that's kind of what we were talking about with the dog in the close up part too. So, this is a really a beautiful voluntary investment in you. Okay. So make sure you receive this with an open hand and a clear heart, because there are no strings here, and only the karma of kindness returning to you, because, this is the universe acting with this person, acting as his messenger, saying, you've given so much. Now it's your turn to be replenished. Okay. So, that is going to be something that fills your cup, I guess, because I feel like you have been giving and giving and giving from a significantly empty one. I do kind of feel like we need to kind of summarize this, because on the surface, it looks like there could be several layers all playing in together. But as we started to kind of do a deep dive into all of these, I really think that there might be a bit of correlation between a lot of these. So, you know, the foundation here is going to be, your foundation here is going to be resilience and wisdom, okay? Because you're protecting your energy with the Nine of Wands, and you're using established structures to find safety. So then we're kind of coming into that karmic shift, and by aligning, you know, your willpower with emotional maturity, you're triggering this karmic shift, right? And you stop fighting the world, and you're just going to have to start manifesting from a place of self-centered type power, heart-centered power. So the challenge here is that your growth hasn't gone unnoticed, okay? You've definitely found a disciplined opposition that's trying to distract you and undermine you behind the scenes. So your response is that you're going to stay focused on your own craftsmanship and, you know, absolutely ignore the noise. Okay. We talked about that. So, you know, the breakthrough that you've successfully closed a chapter is going to be built on this very much unshakable life on the other side. So you've traded your battle armor for the throne, and finding peace is what you've done. Okay. That is both very much earned and protected. So the reward, and I think that that's kind of where we're at here with the reward, is the love and support, because you've secured your own foundation. You're now in a position to enjoy very high vibrational connections. You're experiencing the kinetic joy of a brilliant friendship, and the receiving of a precious gift is going to be that emotional and practical support that honors who you have become through all of this. Okay. So, you know, my final take in a very basic summary is that you're turning your past wounds into basically a blueprint for success. Okay. By being both, you know, the fox and incredibly compassionate, you've kind of cleared your karmic debts and really opened a door to the life of stability, spark, you know, deep mutual respect. So, you know, whatever it is that you have been experiencing and going through with this particular circumstance, is what we're going to call it. It's obviously on its way out, and these are some deep life lessons that you are now about to kind of enjoy, you know, experience the fruits of your labor type energy. So, well, that is all a big fat reading I have for you today. This was pretty expansive. So I hope that it all made sense to you. And if you could drop me a comment down below letting me know which piece resonated with you most, or all of it, or even let me know what situation you're going through, that would be fantastic. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell if you want to see another reading. I will be putting another reading out this coming weekend, so in about 3 or 4 days, and we'll just keep rolling. And I appreciate you guys for being here. If I haven't already said that, thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.